Your goals are a prophecy of what you shall one day become. Simply know where you're going, and the answers as to how you will get there will come to you in their own time. Don't worry about it. Simply believe that you will get there. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I'm excited to have it. I've been doing a lot of things over the summer to really support you with what people normally call the summer sales slump. I used to fall victim to that all the time, listening to people say, well, people are traveling, they're hanging out with their kids, they're focused on other things, not really investing in buying. And so my behavior would line up with that. So this summer, I am doing a couple of intensives for you. The first one is this Friday. I'll talk about that in a minute. We have been doing these weekly sessions every Tuesday. I've been doing Ask Me Anything sessions where you submit your questions, and I'm just sharing my insights, feedback, and strategies that I have in regards to those questions in certain areas. We have been doing client interviews and case studies, unpacking how they have been using the body of work that I teach to create revenue in their own business and accelerate their own income and revenue. And what I decided to add was also these what I'm going to call CEO chats. So today is one of those chats where I'm giving you a peek behind the wizard's curtain, behind my business. And today this is more along the lines of mindset. So we're going to be talking about unlocking the truth behind 100K months, because I truly believe it's possible for each and every one of you. If you haven't gotten there already, if you're trying to move into multiple six-figure months, it's completely possible. But there's some things that we need to look at differently. And I'm going to share how I got here, right? I'm going to share what are those key pivotal moments that were decision-making moments for me that changed how I looked at creating revenue in my business, or how I looked at myself as a CEO and a business owner that was able to change the game for me and shift my capacity to receive on the level of six figures a month, or $1 million a month, or $1 million in a day, which I actually have done. And so we're going to dive into that. What I want you to know and what I want you to hear today is whatever goal you set for yourself for this year, the results you set out to attain this year, they're still completely available to you. It doesn't matter where you are. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. We're going to talk about how today. Okay. So first, I want to do a quick introduction, because I know there's a lot of you who are coming across my content because somebody shared the link to you. Maybe you're listening on the podcast, on the recording, once this gets out there. Or maybe you just found me in your newsfeed and you're listening in. So I'm Shameca Tankerson. I am an Inc. 500 CEO. My company is ranked number 310 on the Inc. 5000 list of America's fastest growing companies, or the fastest growing companies in America. And Shameca International, which is my company, specializes in helping experienced experts, authorities in their field, grow their businesses to 100K plus months using simple strategies that transcend shifting economies and marketing fads. They work no matter what's going on. I have personally helped hundreds of people create their first 100K month. Yay. Let me celebrate that, because it's a big freaking deal. We were looking at the number of people and tallying that up, but so many people, and yes, I have pom-poms, celebrate their first 100K month, their first 100K quarter, their first 100K year, of course. And some of my clients have even created their first 100K day and their first six-figure sale. So I want you to know that I am that chick. This is what the work that I've been doing over the past decade. And make no mistake about it, while I talk about the crazy successful students that we've had who have celebrated breaking through to their first 100K months, we've had so many students do it, clients do it at the rate of multiple six-figure months. So it's not just 100K. We've had 300K months. We've had 500K months. We've had clients do some incredible things. And some have even done that in a day or even in a single sale. And so I want you to understand that there is a lot of possibility, and the things that I bring to the forefront, yeah, there's strategy, but a lot of what I talk about, the courage lines, the capacity to receive, the self-leadership, has a huge amount to do with why you're bottlenecking in your business right now, or you're bumping up against a glass ceiling of your own devising when it comes to increasing the revenue in your business or increasing client generation and all of those things. It's not just what do I do next. So we're going to dive into that. today. Like I said, we've personally had students create $250,000 in a day. I've personally done $1 million in a month, and recently celebrated doing $1 million in a day on multiple occasions, which is a big freaking deal for me, considering my background and where I come from. And what we do is we teach people how to master the art of collapsing time, right, around how fast they reach their revenue goals. It's a big deal. Most people believe that you need to make more money, find more clients, but I truly believe that that's not the key here. The key is you need to make money faster. Most of the people who come to me have made millions of dollars. They've had millions of dollars come through their hands in their lifetime, but they've yet to be able to do $1 million in a year, right? So it's not necessarily about making more money, because you can make more money over time. I see people celebrating all the time if they have $1 million business or a $10 million business, but they're talking about over 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years of being in business, the aggregate of it. Even one of the most famous in the transformational space, there's an award that people get. I'm not going to name the award. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, people get this plaque, and that plaque, a lot of people believe that those people have created $1 million from those funnels or whatever they're using for the year, but it's an aggregate amount. So it's as long as you've been using that system. And so some of those people, it's been 7 years on the system. The system's been around for a while. That's why more and more people get the award, because they've been using it for that much time. And as long as you've been a member, you submit your application. And if the aggregate total of the total time that you've been a member and using the system is over $1 million, that's how you get the award. And I bet most of you didn't even realize that or know that. So what I want you to understand is one of the things we're teaching people how to do is make money faster, so that you can celebrate doing that in a year's timeline instead of over 3 or 4 years. And many of the people that we work with, clients just like you who are listening to us today, are the first in their lineage, the first in their bloodline, their family, to make this kind of money, or the kind of money that we talk about. So there's no example for you. There's no example for them, or there's no story that's the same, right? And so that story is the same, and it's true for me as well. I didn't have rich parents. I didn't have an example of somebody who was able to bring in $1 million in such a short period of time, and there was nobody I could borrow money from. Right, in order to build this business. I often say that I bootstrapped this business with no boots. Tell me how you do that. This girl did it. I really built what I have today from scratch, from nothing. And so I'm able to teach people on all levels how to go from where they are, whatever that is, until their next level. So one of the biggest things that I do is we teach people to push the limits of their own possibility, of what they believe is possible, to level up their leadership capacity, their capacity to receive, and then to master their mental game for high performance, so that they can accelerate their income. Right? I want you to blow your own mind with what is possible for you. So welcome to my world. If you're just joining, talk to me, say what's up. I'm a church girl. Give me some amens and all the things, so that I know that you're there and what I'm saying is landing and resonating with you. And today we are going to be talking about unlocking 100K months with this one simple truth. And I want you to lean in and listen today, because I want to reveal and talk about one of the biggest lies that's being perpetuated right now, that keeps business owners, smart, brilliant, badass business owners, stuck during this season as we move into the end of the year. And the biggest lie is that people aren't buying right now because of whatever. There will always be a holiday. There will always be something going on. You have to learn how to show up despite that, right? We believe that people are holding on to every penny. There's talk about recession right now. And so people are like, oh my gosh, I got to slash my prices. There's so much rhetoric that if you plug into that paradigm, it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you buy into the lie, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you do is you make a decision and you begin to take action that is in alignment and in accordance to that belief that people don't have money, people aren't buying right now. And what happens as a result is your results reflect your decision to believe the lie. I hope you heard me. Okay. That's why I'm doing the summer sales series. So this Friday, I'm hosting a 3-hour intensive on creating your first 100K month, day, year, quarter, wherever you are. What I'm going to teach, these 3 foundational areas that you really want to have mastery over, what I'm going to teach there is going to help you remove that bottleneck, to break through the glass ceiling if you know what to focus on. And I'm gifting seats to join me. So if you don't have yours yet and you haven't registered for the 100K month intensive, what you can do is type 100K months in the comments, and a team member or myself, depends on who's available, will get you the link so that you can register. I'm not charging for it. I decided to do this over the summer. I could charge for it, but I'm not going to. So if you type 100K months, the team member can get it to you, or you can simply just go to yourfirst100kmonth.com. Go to yourfirst100kmonth.com, yourfirst100kmonth.com. Also, I just want to remind you guys that Game On Live event is back live and in person in Vegas, baby. We're going to Vegas. To get the details for Game On Live event, if you want to be in the room, go to gameonliveevent.com. I'll probably come back through and type in some of these things. I think on the description area, we put the link to Game On Live event so that you can go there. What I want you to understand about Game On Live, it isn't a conference or an event. Game On is a war cry. It's a war cry to the giant and the power player within you. It's a call to arms, and it is a carefully curated container specifically designed to set the atmosphere for you to embody who you need to become in order to receive and walk in full ownership of your next level of leadership, your next level of wealth, your next level of purpose, your next level of living. So if you're feeling the nudge around Game On Live event, get yourself in the room, because it will completely transform who you be, your life, and your business. So go to gameonliveevent.com. And if you are a person who is committed to shattering your biggest limiting beliefs, thoughts, behaviors, and stories so you can achieve what is seemingly impossible to you right now, I have to tell you, hadn't even thought about creating $1 million in my business in a day. And that was so far removed out of the realm of possibility back when I was deciding to open my business. It still blows my mind. So this is the opportunity for you to get in the room. GameOnLiveEvent.com. Shift the trajectory of your life and business. No matter where you are on your journey, my hope for you is this. My hope and my prayer and my earnest desire for you is that you have the courage to break every limiting behavior, thought, and story that stands at the gate of your rise. I want you to shatter every upper limit, every limiting belief, every limiting behavior and thought, every freaking time they show up. Get yourself in the room. All right, let's get into this. So the results that you set out to attain this year are still available to you. And this is how you unlock it. Okay. I want you to understand this. Whatever that result is, it could be your $1 million year. It can be your first 6-figure year. It can be your first 6-figure day. It could be a 6-figure sale that you desire to create and break the ceiling on for yourself. You would not have been given the desire if the means to fulfill it didn't already exist, right? I think that's the law of polarity. You wouldn't have been given the desire if the means to fulfill it didn't already exist. And so I want to read this quote or recite this quote from the book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money, which is required reading in my world. Right now we're in Play Big, which is an income acceleration container we started last week. And everyone in that container, while we're going through rapid revenue acceleration, is required to read A Happy Pocket Full of Money throughout the program. And here's a quote that I want you to really listen to. So if you don't have the book, go get it. Don't download the audio version or the Kindle version for your first time. Get the actual book. I always tell people this: after you read it through in the paper copy, then you can transfer to the others if you like. But there's a reason for that, because there's things in the pages that are meant to be there to help to reprogram your subconscious mind around abundance, right? So always read the paper book first. All right, so your goals. This is from the Happy Pocket Full of Money. Your goals are a prophecy of what you shall one day become. I'm going to say that again. Your goals, and I'll add in there your desires, are a prophecy of what you shall one day become. Simply know where you are going, and the answers of how you will get there will come to you in their own time. Do not worry about it. Simply believe that you will get there. So the other day I did a post and I asked a question of you. I asked, what if you turned your 90-day goal into a 30-day goal? And I wanted to see what emotions would come up or what thoughts would come up for people. Not very many people commented on it, but I want to bring it to this conversation. I went on to ask, what would it take for you to create what you wanted to create in 90 days and 30 days? And then how does that make you feel? And then I asked the final question, do you believe it's possible? Few people answered, and someone answered, I believe it's possible. I just don't know how. And how is the question that most people get stuck on a lot. When I'm working with people, this is what I see. Here's what I want you to understand. When I crossed $1 million in my business for the first time in 2020, I didn't really know how. And I actually let the how keep me stuck at the beginning of the year. It's really, really crazy when I think about it. What I know that I did once I got unstuck, I didn't know how or when. I just knew in my knower that it was a done deal and I moved accordingly, right? And here's what I want you to understand about this story. I told you it's going to be a little bit of behind the scenes. In 2020, from January to April, I was not on track to have $1 million year. And I had made $1 million declaration to my masterminds that I was in, to my coach. I did $500,000 a year before, and my business had been doubling year over year up until that point. So I was like, you know what? Next year, I can feel it. I can sense that things are going to grow. But then I got stuck in how I was trying to do numbers and the numbers didn't make sense. I was like, I would need to have this many sales and this. I was just doing all the numbers and trying to figure out how based on the programs that I had. And I was just so stuck. And I was not on track for $1 million. So if you just, slice the number in half and go $1 million, you should be doing like $83,000 or so every single month. I wasn't there. I think up until April of that year, I may have done $200,000 that year from January into the month of April. In March, I was in an event and I was sitting there doing an exercise, and all of a sudden, just the knowing came over me that it was a done deal and that I was literally going to cross $1 million that year. Now, remember, it's April. We're almost to the halfway mark of the year, and I've only done a couple of $100,000 so far. What looks like to me is I'm on track to do exactly what I did last year, which was $500,000, right? And that was my thought process until that moment of clarity, and I was willing to act and move accordingly and in alignment with the knowing that I was going to get there instead of the step-by-step details of the how. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I did a sales call with someone who crossed $1 million for the first time last year, but was feeling like emotionally wonky because they weren't on track in dollars and cents to do it again this year. Okay. I want to read the quote from the book again, because this is something I want you to anchor for those of you who have big goals that seem so outside of the realm of possibility for yourself. You don't know how because you have no examples. You've never done it before. That's why you don't know how, which is why this element that I'm bringing to the table is so important in the creation of your next iteration or next level of income and the thing that you're doing, because you don't know how. You have not done it, right? So here's the quote again. Your goals are a prophecy of what you shall one day become. Simply know where you're going, and the answers as to how you will get there will come to you in their own time. Don't worry about it. Simply believe that you will get there. Many years ago, more than a decade ago, I heard this quote and it resonated, but I didn't really get it. But I decided to adopt it and begin to act on it. And that is this: the answer to how is yes. The answer to how is yes. The answer to how is yes. Most people focus on their outer strategy, the strategic side, the doing, the what to do to create. That's how they're focusing their how to create those big results. right? The launch, the messaging, the Facebook ads, the videos, the branding, the funnel, the greatest, latest tactic, right? Should I podcast, do YouTube, Facebook Live or Instagram stories or reels, that on and on and on and on and on. How should I post? What should it say? What's the right way? And the truth is, this is the truth. All of these things work and none of them work. If your inner game, if your self leadership is not on point, if your capacity to receive is not expanded on that level. This is the one simple truth that I wanted to share with you today that will allow you to collapse time and hit your income goals faster than ever, and to do it this year. Trust. Write that down. I know it seems simplified, but it's huge. Trust. Just the regular old word trust. 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 Here's the practical application of trust, because we understand trust is like believing, trust. But I want to give you a practical application of trust. Trust in the knowing that it's already done. It's a done deal, right? I often will future pace because of the way our brain works. Future pacing, your brain doesn't know the difference between what is reality and what's fake. It doesn't know. It's all real to your brain, which is why you get scared in the movies, even though you're just in the movies. But if Jason or Freddie are coming in the movies, your heart rate is elevated and you can't look and all of the things, right? Because your brain doesn't know how to determine what's real, what's your current reality, and what's fake. And the way that the brain works to help you create results, you want to work with it and not against it. So I will do something called future pacing, where I dictate my future, envision my future, recite my future, not as if I'm creating it, because I don't want to perpetuate the creation of the thing, but as if it's already done. This is where the term act as if comes, and most people don't understand. Because when your brain believes you're $1 million CEO, the type of woman who earns 6 figures a month, right? Then opportunities come to you in alignment with that. You make decisions in alignment with that. You take action in alignment with that, right? So we want to trust in the knowing that it's done in the present tense. And what I do in the practical application of this is I only give my attention to that which I desire to create in a knowing kind of way, not in a wanting kind of way. I don't look at what I don't want to create. I don't talk about or look at the type of clients that I don't want to have, or the fact that I have a deficit in my money, or whatever the case may be. I'm only focusing on and giving my attention to that which I desire to create in a knowing that it's a done thing kind of way, not in a I really wish I could have this kind of thing. And so that trust is a trust and a knowing that's rooted in that it's going to happen eventually, and the timing is God's business, right? So I trust in the eventuality of it. Now, here's the beautiful thing about trusting in the eventuality of it. Most people believe that trusting in the eventuality of it will perpetuate it and that it will cause time to slow down. But trusting in the eventuality of the thing coming, right, actually is what speeds up time, because you release and you look at it, right? You look at it as if it's done. So then when your brain believes that it's done, all the opportunities and the how of how to create it start to come your way, because it's in alignment with who you be, right? You must trust in the knowing of who you are and whose you are, is what I always say. Right? If you say something like, I'm confused, I can't figure it out, I don't know how, it creates the state of confusion. It creates the lack of knowledge how. You then begin to be filled with self-doubt. Here's what I want you to understand, and something I teach in all of my containers and throughout my methodology. What you have today is a creation of your past. Write that down. What I have today, I created months ago. So think about where you were months ago and the types of decisions you were making and types of action you were taking. What I have today is a creation of my past. So that means right now, today, the decisions I'm making and the actions I'm taking are creating my future. When you have that knowing and you can trust in that knowing, you know that you are in full power and at choice with how you create what comes next for you, right? What you have today is a creation of your past. It is effect. So the lack of clients or not doing a six-figure month this month, last month, or whatever is based on what you did in January, February, maybe even March, right? Or maybe go back further or whatever. That's those actions showing up today. It's not the cause of your today. It's an effect of your yesterday. And so you all action being taken from a place of alignment with what you currently are creating or desire to create. Take no action that contradicts the creation of the thing. None. Aligned, intentional action rooted in trust is what allows you to collapse time to create those six-figure months that you desire to create. This is why investing, and I'm almost done and we'll be wrapping this up, but this is why investing and saying yes to opportunities in front of you is often a powerful catalyst for your next level, right? Let me explain this. Opportunities don't appear if you aren't ready for them or seeking them. And so most people get so scared when they're invited to a program or invited to invest, and then they backtrack. I'm like, this is what you prayed for and asked for. Like most of you, a lot of you didn't know I existed until you knew I existed. And then you thought maybe 100K months wasn't even on your mind, right? It's a test. It's a show me moment. It's a prove me moment. Prove it to me. It's a prove it moment. It's a, hey, you really want what you say you want. Will you say yes to this thing that's in front of you? You know, a famous person that shows up and says, I want to work with you, and you go hide, right? It's a prove it moment. You get what you believe you can have, nothing more and nothing less. You get and create in your life and in your business what is congruent and in alignment with the decisions that you're making, right? That is what is showing up for you. So things show up because you have a desire, but yet you don't move on the desire. And those that do will often see a pop in what's possible for them because the answer to how is yes, right? So we're going to go into the mental game of money more deeply during this Friday's intensive at the 100K month intensive. So again, if you want that, type 100K months, and even more during Game On Live event. During Game On Live event, we're going to spend an entire day in a full immersion experience designed to create a breakthrough around you increasing your capacity to receive, and specifically your capacity to receive more money faster, right? In order for me to create $1 million in a single day, my capacity had to be there. Right? My capacity to receive $1 million in a day had to be there. And here's what's funny. 18 months prior to that, I didn't even have the desire to have $1 million day. I was still trying to wrap my brain around, creating this $1 million business. I was actually trying to wrap my brain around creating my first six-figure months, like 18 months prior to that. I hadn't done it yet. I'd done like 87,000. I just hadn't popped to six figures yet. And I met a guy and was talking to him, and he had been selling $1 million from the stage in a single day. And I asked him, how did you become the kind of person who went from doing six figures a year to doing six figures in a day? And he looked at me and he said, that's easy. I had to change my relationship to what I believed was a whole lot of money. That hit me like a ton of bricks. And what I didn't understand at that moment is knowing that he was selling $1 million from the stage and creating $1 million days had planted a seed inside of me. Fast forward to the next year, I started doing six-figure months consistently, right? This is 2020, April, right? Fast forward 18 months from that conversation, I have my first $1 million month. And then the next year, I had my first $1 million day. And I laughed and giggled because that expansion of even just having the conversation around allowing myself to receive at that level and changing my relationship to what I believe was a whole lot of money had put me in that place in such a short amount of time. So I want you to understand that you still have time if you focus. If you're focused and you're intentional about what you are doing, and let's just say what you are creating from this day forward. So what I want you to do is decide on the goal, that you want to complete this year. Whatever it is, you're going to write down the goal because the Bible says write the vision to make it plain, right? Um, so you're going to write that goal down. And I would also just write down all the ways that you believe that you can accomplish the goal. Now, I did this in the beginning with my $1 million year. And then I released it and just kind of sat it aside, right? So I want you to release and let go of the how. And then you're just going to focus doing aligned intentional action. You're going to hit it until you hit the goal. You're just going to go for it like nobody's business. And do not allow external factors, what you see with your eyes, what other people are doing, to inform your actions. Only let the trust in the knowing and the alignment with what you desire to create inform the type of action that you create. Remember, current circumstances are a product of past thinking, behavior, and actions. And today, you can begin creating what you want in the future now with an aligned, intentional action that is rooted in trust. Trust of yourself. Trust God, right? Like, trust yourself, trust God, be willing to trust other people that you're cared for. It's got to be rooted in trust. Got to be rooted in trust. So that is a little known thing that people talk about. That is how you create revenue goals, impossible revenue goals that you barely even can hold on to and anchor the belief that it's possible. For those of you who are already registered for Game On Live, shout it out in the chat so I can say hi to you. I'm excited to have you. We have not been live for this event since 2019. And so we are pulling no punches and no stops. There are 3 levels of investment in Game On Live. You can get a basic event ticket. You can upgrade to VIP. And we have a savage level ticket, baby. For those of you who are truly savage CEOs who only like the best VIP, red carpet treatment, personal concierge, car service, all kinds of things. We have all the things for you at that level. And there's only 5 of those available. I know there are those of you who are in my community. That's just how you roll. That's how you do life. That's how you do anything. And so I wanted to provide that space for you. And then there may be those of you who just want to lean into the life that you desire to create. So if you're coming to Game On Live event, if you're interested in learning more about Game On Live event, like I said, it's a full immersion experience. From the moment you step on campus, you will begin to have breakthroughs about who you be and how it's creating the results that you have. And my desire and the premise of this event is that you leave there blowing your own mind with what is possible for you. So go to GameOnLiveEvent.com. Today has been incredible, amazing. And I pray and hope that something I said today landed with you that unlocks your next, because you are a giant, you are a phenom, you are an anomaly, and you deserve to create exactly what you desire to create in your life and in your business faster than you ever dreamed possible. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment, like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously.